Hey, Scruffy. I think I'm on time. Yep, right on time. So I have too much food for you tonight. So I just made chicken stock with the rotisserie chicken bones. And I just finished now. So I was separating the bones from the stock. And then I pulled off all the little extra bits of meat that were still clinging to the bones, and I added it to your food. And there's a lot more than I expected, so I think I gave you way too much food tonight. But I don't think you're going to mind. But we'll see. It's probably kind of bland. It's just been boiling all day in water. So I used the pressure cooker. Doesn't take as long in the pressure cooker, but I decided to max out the clock anyway, since I had plenty of time today to just let it sit. Okay, get the food on the table, get the glove, sit in the chair. Oh, Scruffy didn't run past me tonight. I did that at lunch today again. Oh, you got a raspy meow again. Another meow. He's pushing him reasonably firm. So yeah, it was another good weather day. So it was pretty nice today. I think it was a little warmer than yesterday, but I think it started cooling off a little bit earlier. So it felt like it was getting a little warmer in midday, but felt like it tapered off a little faster today. So I was actually kind of tired. I think I needed a rest day today. So I was originally planning to go for a bike ride today, but I realized I think I need a rest day or more. Didn't seem to have the energy to go out, and my legs are tired. So that's another reason I was doing the chicken stock, although it didn't really need me to do anything. Since I did it in the pressure cooker instead of the stove, I didn't have to watch it. So the gas stove, we gotta be around for safety. But with the electric pressure cooker, just kind of leave it alone. So I might have overcooked it. This is only the second time I tried using the pressure cooker for this. I read that if you do it too long, it may make it bitter. I haven't tasted it yet, so I'm gonna find out. I actually maxed out the time, so I just learned on my pressure cooker that so for a long time I thought it maxed out at 2 hours. So I don't have the popular one. I don't have an Instant Pot. I have a crock pot. So they also make a pressure cooker. And one peculiar thing was, it's the clock seemed to max out at 2 hours, at least every time I tried it. And then I think a couple weeks ago, for the first time, I discovered that that's not entirely true. So there are little preset buttons on the front. So like the first one is, I think, meat/stew, and that has a preset. It has a, I think it's like 20-minute preset on high pressure, and then the next one is, I think, beans and chili, and that one's like, I don't know, is it 30 or 40-minute on high pressure, and then there's a whole bunch of other presets like yogurt, and I don't remember all of them, but so I usually just hit the first button and then I manually ramp up the time. And the first button, maxed out. The first setting maxed out at 2 hours. What I found was if I push a different setting, sometimes the max time is different. So when I hit the chili button, it actually let me crank manually the minutes up to 4 hours instead of 2 hours. And so, just kind of out of curiosity's sake, I wanted to see, does it actually go the full 4 hours if I set it that way? I presumed it did, but yeah, I didn't even know it would let me do that before, because you wouldn't think that the manual override setting would top out on different buttons. I figure it just max out at a certain point, like 99 or something like that. Or some computer number or something like 64 or something like that. 32. Actually, so I guess 2 hours, 4 hours, so I guess maybe we'd have to max out at 9 or 8 or something like that if they don't do double digits. But yeah, anyway, so I had the time today, so I started early enough, so I thought, let's see what happens. I actually still have a lot of chicken stock from the last batch I did. I actually didn't need to make more, but had all the bones. Felt like, well, should do something with them. Just gonna throw them away. So anyway, so there's a bunch of extra meat and skin and other stuff that just kind of fell off the bones in the broth. So I separated everything and started pulling off some of the meat and skin, and it's actually more meat. I already pulled off the skin. Oh, Scruffy boy, climb there. So hopefully I won't overfeed him too much tonight. I don't know, he might just walk away, say, too much food, not going to eat all that. I might actually have to bring in the food and refrigerate it and save it for another night. So yeah, if he leaves early, I might just take it in instead of putting it on the red plate, because there's probably too much food in there now that I look at it. So let's see how he fares tonight. So I was waiting for another package to arrive today. So I checked the status, and I think originally it was supposed to arrive tomorrow, and then when I checked the status, it said it was arriving today, a day early. I was really surprised by that, but I said, I'll take it. But yeah, it didn't show up. So I checked the status a little while ago, and it reverted. So now it says, tomorrow again. And I was looking more at the more detailed waypoints for the package, and it's actually nowhere near. It's not that close to me. It's actually, I think, still near one of the main distribution hubs. So I don't think it's. So when it was said it was out for delivery, I don't believe it because I don't even think it was in the right region. So I think, yeah, they had some sort of error because, yeah, the information was like, I think it was completely wrong. Because, yeah, it should have never set out to delivery. It was, yeah, nowhere close. And I presume it, it's still at a distribution center. So we'll deliver it there. Oh, Scruffy's getting into the neck rubs there. So it's about food time. Getting ready for food. Okay. So we can get his butt a little bit. Just fur. Looks like it's shedding off his butt. And yeah, it looks like it's also down here near his leg too. Oh, I just got a chunk. So I don't think he's been using that self-groomer. I keep looking at it, and I don't see any fur stuck to it. So I think he's been avoiding it. Okay, I'm done. So let's see, got lunch today. I think it was fairly conventional. He, I think, had a few leftover pieces of kibble, and when he walked away, instead of going under the table, he actually walked a little bit past the step stool and started grooming himself, so he didn't disappear out of sight. So I continued sitting here and moved kibble onto the red plate, and then I just kind of sat here for a while. I think he was waiting for me to go in, but I sat here for so long, he eventually came back for the kibble while I was still out here. Hey, Scruffy. You're still hanging around near that chair. Can't see you there. Yeah, got some meows for me today. So it's going to be warm again today. Well, I think it's actually going to be very similar to yesterday. So not that warm, but warm. I know. Okay, well, I got your food and water ready. Actually, I can already feel the heat. I think it's going to be warmer or hotter than yesterday. Okay, I'm gonna get your water down. Blow on. Scruffy ran past me again. Yeah, do pets first. Not gonna give you the food yet, but we'll be quick. There's a nice meowy purr. Raspy meow. Okay, let's get food. Looks like most of the water got absorbed. Tonight's dinner is smelly fish, rotisserie chicken scraps, and kibble. So we got a glimpse into the corner of the bowl that he's eating from. He's actually doing a pretty good job cleaning that section, but I can't tell how much food's under the balls. So I am curious if there's any nutritional value in the bones now that they've been cooked. So I know you're not supposed to feed cooked bones to a cat. Raw bones are a different story. Apparently cats can get nutritional value from raw bones because yeah, that's how they eat their food, raw. So apparently the bone marrow is actually very nutritious for them. But yeah, if you cook it, it becomes a hazard because apparently the bones may shatter and fragment when they chew them, and it may cut them. And I guess it's less of a problem. I guess the shattering's less of a problem when they're raw. Maybe it's the fragmentation. But what I just did with the pressure cooker, basically, yeah, the bones have turned into kind of a. The bones are still intact, but they're almost like a mush now. So if you take your fingers and just press a little bit, they cave in and turn into a powder. But you can see the bone marrow inside, and yeah, so these bones are not going to fragment. They're just going to turn to mushy powder. I didn't feed any to Scruffy, but it's probably I don't. Yeah, I'm kind of assuming there's probably not much nutrition value left overcooking the bones that much, but I actually don't know for sure. So it's a little just curiosity in my head. Is there any nutritional value left? Because it's not fragmentation is not a problem at this point since they're just essentially mush at this point. And if I really wanted to, I could just pinch it all first with my fingers or palm and pre-mush it to make sure that there's no fragmentation problems. But I just assume probably isn't any, but I haven't tried Google searching for that. It's probably not a common thing, so it's probably hard to figure out. I tried one of those AI bots with Bing. I think it was so I tried it out for the first time. I was searching for it. I talked about that extra large granny gear I wanted to get for my bicycle, and there's only one company that seems to make a gear this big, and I don't know anything about the company. I don't know anything about the quality of the gear. So I asked the AI to tell me, can I buy a bigger gear? And ultimately, I wanted to see if it could it would find that gear and then tell me about it. And so at first, it didn't even know that a gear existed. So it just gave me some really bad recommendations and actually recommended gears that were smaller than I think the one I already had. And then after a bit of prodding, I asked it, well, what about this one that I was trying to get it to tell me about? And then, basically, I think it just did a search on that and then just returned the results of that gear I entered. And basically, it didn't tell me anything I didn't know already. And then I kept asking questions about it, like, is it any good? Is the quality good? Are there any reviews? Blah, blah, blah. And basically, it told me nothing that I hadn't already seen. There's basically no information. It was pretending it knew something about it, but clearly, since I knew more about it than it did at this point, it's clear to me that it was complete BS. So imagine if I searched for overcooked chicken stock bones, probably wouldn't tell me anything useful. Slight digression. Speaking of pulverizing things into powder, because our lunches, I'm always concerned about Scruffy, scarf and barfing, both lunch and dinner, but in particular the lunches because of basically I just give them dry cat food at lunch. I don't mix in the wet stuff until dinner. And the wet cat food does seem to slow them down a little bit. That's probably why I watered down the kibble a little bit. But it started getting me thinking: what if I ground up the kibble into a powder, and then just let them either eat the kibble, look up the kibble as a powder, or liquefy it to turn it into kind of a flavored soup or something. Ground kibble water, flavored kibble water or something like that. And so I was thinking about how would I easily grind it up. And I was thinking maybe if I bought like a used coffee grinder from like a thrift store or something like that. They grind up kibble and wouldn't have to use the balls anymore for lunch. Scruffy still manages to scarf and barf the wet cat food, so won't solve the problem completely for dinner. I don't think grinding the wet cat food in the coffee grinder is going to help. It's probably just going to make a big mess in the coffee grinder. But I rarely go to a thrift store, so there's not one that close to me. So the closest one to me, it's actually not that close, but it's also kind of it's one of the smaller ones, so a lot of times I don't have that much interesting stuff. There's a much better one, but it's much further away. And then the much further one, actually both of them kind of suck with bicycle parking. Usually incentivizes me to drive. The far away one actually is far enough that I probably want to drive anyway, but the closer one, both places don't have very good places to lock up. But yeah, the further one way is a lot worse. And then I think the further away one actually has really terrible parking for cars too. Yeah, I think I remember last time I went, I had trouble getting parking. But if I'm ever in a thrift store, I remember the coffee grinder I might look. So probably spend a lot of time trying to get the coffee flavor out of the grinder because it's probably used. Yeah, I should have still a lot of food in there. So I have a nice thermos. So I don't drink. Unfortunately, I don't drink coffee. But fortunately, in the sense that I could probably use the caffeine pretty badly. Unfortunately, yeah, I like the smell of coffee, but yeah, I could never. For some reason, yeah, the taste doesn't agree with me. So anyway, yeah, I have a nice thermos. I usually use it for hot water, but I had a. Oh yeah, I think it was actually for my dad's memorial service. I had a lot of people over, and I was using the thermos for coffee for the guests, and so after that day, I was trying to wash out the coffee smell from the thermos. It's a stainless steel thermos, and it really took me months to get all traces of the coffee out of it. I was using I was soaking it in soap and water, hot soap and water for weeks, and I was using white vinegar, soaking it in that for weeks, and constantly rinse it out and wash it again, and keep doing it. Yeah, there's a lot of food left. Yeah, just took a really long time for get that coffee sent out. So anyway, thanks for watching. I'm not going to leave the food out for Scruffy. I think I'm going to save it. So, see you next time. Bye.